or just hold in on the trade. I think Janet was the one who shared in the room that looking at an hour on a 1 hour chart and following this break has a tendency that anytime the market comes back, it retraces somewhat, gives us that lower high, and then continues on down. And then oftentimes, so he, in this case, like the market was sitting up here high, and take a look at this. If you'll look at the fact that this is up above the 0.85, and this comes down, and then bounces back up. So as if not really ready to go yet. Now we finally get a go signal here, but the market did push up and do a test on us. But now also, do you notice this? This is what I look for a lot of times. What do we have? I'm not good at this. What do we have here? Look at the green. What do we have right there in the green? The green line of the TDI compared to the price. What do we have right there? Divergence. Absolutely. Fred, you ask, so on the break of Laguerre 0.85, you short on the open of the small green candle next to the red bar. You're saying right here? Is that the one you're talking about? Let me clear this up. So talking about right there? Yes. Obviously, though, it pushed back up on us in this case. But as Gene was pointing out, and forgive me if I got this wrong, Gene, but you were saying that this was a downtrend, and you'd first be looking for a retrace before entering in on a downtrend. Is that right?
That's correct.
Dean, the pound pair we were looking at, did you get a note to change that color? What color? I'm not sure what you're asking for, Michael. Okay, Janet, you were asking me, how do you put it on the TDI? So let me show you what I did again down below here so it's kind of clear for everybody. I first took the TDI, I took the Laguerre. So let's go take the Laguerre. But not that, I want the Laguerre. Laguerre. Here's the Laguerre. And my background color, I don't want to look at the, personally, I don't want to look at these, so I made it my background color. Whoops, that's not it. My background color for the blue. Come on. And for the red, I just made it my background color. And then I changed this to a blue because the TDI has a yellow in it. You can do whatever you want. It's completely up to you. I bolded the line and I put it on the chart. So you can see here's the Laguerre chart, or the Laguerre indicator, okay? 0.5 and so forth. Now then I went down to the TDI and I went to apply that to the chart. Now if you don't want the levels of the TDI, unfortunately you can't change them. They're already built in, they're hard-coded in there. So you just simply, what you do is you take the TDI, you can't do like this. You actually have to click on it. This is important. If you want to stack indicators, you have to click and drag it to this indicator. Drag it, let go, and then click OK, and it'll appear. Okay? So if your stop was the previous high, you'd be stopped out. Yes, you would be, Fred. Yeah. So if you stepped in on, if you stepped in here and that was your, and that was your, the previous high there, yes, you'd been stopped out. That would have been a stop out of about, looks like, is that 50 pips there? Correct. So it's not a foolproof, Fred, as you well know, it's not really foolproof. I'd love to, say, hey guys, this, this will come back, and it, if we have a lower high. But look what this market activity was right here. If you take a close look, what do you think this was? What do you think this was right here? These two candles. What do you think the market was doing right there? This right here is referred to as a stop run. Right up here, and remember what we talked about earlier today. I was looking for a break of the high and continuation of the high to the upside, right? So what did they do in this little area? The market pins up to it, comes off, gives us a doji. That doji is a possible reversal. It's just not real certain to go any higher. And then what they do? They bust up above it, trigger the longs, trigger the buy stops above it, and yank them down. Okay, and they yank them down. Look at that, very hard, 60 pips there. But the first bar, they yank down. Look at that, 35 pips from this high to this low. Look at that, that's 35 pips. This is typically a stop out right there. We pinned up a little bit and then continued down. So this was a stop run. They knew they had some probably buy stops up here because of the weakness we've seen in the CAD. I'm sure there were longs sitting here. Well, if we get long on this, I'm going for it again, and they got stopped out. And that's okay. It's okay to get stopped out. Now what are you going to do? Now what is the market showing you? So if you take this away and you take out that, look what you have. You have descending. This is descending. And then you have this coming across. If we can't get back above, let me go back over here. That high, from that high to that high. If we can't get back above there and close above there, then there's a likelihood of running down. Again, that being the previous high. I mean, it's very easy for me to sit here and analyze all this stuff after the fact, but like right now, I guarantee if I put my D.O.T.S guppy on this, we probably have a. Let me just put them on there real quick. I bet you we have a. Whoops! I put on the wrong one. Darn it. Hold on. I bet you we have the guppy. Oh, I know. Oh, yeah. I don't. That's fine. No, that's fine. I bet you we have the guppies rolling over here. I was looking to see if I had a guppy, and there's a separate guppy indicator. I don't have it on this platform. I've got it on another one that just automatically draws the guppies. I don't have it here. But I bet you this is coming back into the guppies here, and we get another possible. So, Gene, real quick here, and we'll wrap this up. What do you do at this point? We've got.
Okay, I draw a fib.
And we're going. And here we are at the inside range high. What's your thoughts at this point?
Okay, first thing I would do is I draw a fib from the last swing high to the swing low.
From here to here, or from
no, the up there.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go from the high of day, or you can go from that lower high, which is the last run.
Okay. Which one do you want me to do?
Do the last run. Do the swing. Move the cursor to right there, and you'll see that the market's at a 38.2.
Yes, it is. Let me spin this around so people actually see that number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to get used to seeing that number. And then if you look at your Laguerre is still down towards the bottom.
We're below the 0.15. Okay. Next. What do you got?
So now I'd be waiting for a short signal.
And what would that short signal be?
At this point, it would probably be the green crossing the red on the TDI.
Okay.
You see how it's coming up towards the 50%, so it needs to roll over.
Correct. Okay, so you're looking for it coming up here to back to the 50% and rolling back over. Gotcha.
Oh.
Okay. Now what I'd do, since I'm a J-hook fan, is probably put that trend line along the lows, look for a break, a close below, a retest, and then my entry. And if that happens, I should see the green and the red crossing over. Okay.
Yes.
what I should see. Kind of like this back here, folks. I draw a trend line across the lows, so I get the break below, come back, retest, and then the downward action. And see, I've got the crossover right here on that bar. Crossover in my TDI. Okay. How often, now Rex, you say, how often do you change the fib setting? What do you mean by how often? I'm not following you on that. The fib setting, I don't change really any of these. You can flip it around. Actually, I've learned that it doesn't matter if I'm looking at a 38.2 from the bottom or a 618 from top down. That's still a 38.2 from top down at the 618. But and I've added the 127.2 up above and the 141.4 up here. At the same time, I've added them down below because it's still a 27.2 extension from this low, or a 41.4 extension from that low. Oh, you're talking about you're talking about where your placement is. That's actually a good question. Gene, Rex is just wondering, are you moving your fib settings constantly given the last swing high and last swing low?
On the intraday, yes.
And that intraday would be down that 5-minute chart or the 15?
The 15.
The 15. Okay, there you go, Rex.
See, once this run is completed, if it comes down and hits the 127 or the 141, then you'll start. Once you get a retrace, then you're looking for your next leg.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. Well, Gene, thank you so much for your time today. Here it is, 3:25 in the morning, and I really, really do appreciate you putting in the time to be here this morning. So kudos to you. Thank you so much for being willing to step in here and to do this for us. So give a little applause out to you.
Thank you. Glad to be able to help fellow traders.
All right. Thank you so much, Gene. And folks, Gene will be have the ability to be on the mic, so it's up to him if he wants to jump on or not. If he's on the mic, I don't want y'all to overwork him or anything of that. It's not that. It's just for Gene, for the sake of you, instead of having to type things out, if you just want to say things to someone, it might be easier on you. That's all I was trying to get at.
Yeah, and it might be easier because then they can fire back a question, and yes,
correct.
It is easier.
And I take it from what you've said before, Gene, that you are, this is your deal, right? You're professionally, or lack of a better word, you're trading, that's what you do.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So, fantastic. Well, folks, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording here, and when we're wrapped up, I will give me a few minutes. I will post the recording. Again, I want to extend a gracious thank you to Gene for your time in the room and your training and your tips on what you're doing. Folks, this is just another technique. The bank trader strategy is not a end-all in. It's definitely not the holy grail, as we saw in some cases today. But the idea is simply this: find what works for you, what resonates for you. The whole idea behind the bank trader strategy is you can take what the market's done and look forward into the next day as to what the market may likely do. And as we've seen today, if you take another look here, we've seen today that on the pound CAD, virtually, if we take everything else off the chart, you can see that that's pretty much what the market did. Here's yesterday. Okay, we took yesterday's data, and if you couldn't see yesterday's data, if it was all blacked out, okay, so if I put this over here, and yesterday's data was all, if I change this up, maybe this will work, I don't know if it will or not, but if I take all of yesterday's data, and, well, I can't, if you couldn't see that, you've got yesterday's high, and yesterday's low, and you got inside range, and you can see how the market's played along that inside range, okay, up to the previous high of yesterday, couldn't break any higher, so the market's not going to go one way, most likely it'll go another way, and it makes a retrace back to the mean, just like what I said when we first started the training here. So with that, y'all make it a great weekend, and I appreciate everybody being here. Y'all take care. God bless. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye all.